Hi there. Let me start off by asking how many of you are working hard constantly on your work and your career and your success, but are unable to spend time with your loved ones, your family members? Conversely, how many of you are living in the moment, are enjoying your comfort zone, but are always trying your level best to catch up with your work? How many of you are spending a lot of time with your family members but don't have much time for social life with your friends? Or how many of you have completely neglected your health and fitness for some reason or the other? I'm sure that many of you will attest to some of the questions that I have asked. We all want to live a long, happy, prosperous, healthy life. But at the end of the day, some of you will look back at the end of your life thinking, oh my God, I've completely neglected some aspects of my life. The question is though, what can we do about it from now on to ensure that such a regret is not there? What we're going to do is we're going to talk about the balanced way of living life. So in this video, I'm going to cover certain aspects or elements of life that will need to be required to live in a balanced manner. At the same time, I'm going to give you my tips on how exactly do we balance those elements and live a proper, balanced, harmonized life. Let's get into it. First off, career and work. Your job, the overall long-term career plan that you have, the promotions, the performance evaluations, your pathway to leadership, being a CEO of a company, maybe your entrepreneurship journey, some side hustles. Next is your intellectual life, the books that you read, the people that you talk to on a day-to-day basis to learn something new, the education that has been imparted upon you, the self-education that you do continuously, the family and relationships, your family members, your parents, your children, your spouses, your siblings, your various responsibilities that you have. Next is health and fitness, the exercises that you do, the diet that you maintain, yoga, meditation, as well as some cheat days here and there. Social life, having friends, going out, going for dates, having great experiences, traveling. Your quality of life, the hobbies, the interests, the passions that you have, enjoying certain luxuries, well earned luxuries. Your spiritual life, meditation, yoga, your religious practices, your customs, your traditions, and your way to make sense of this world, your purpose, charities, your emotional and mental well being. How much do you love? Do you practice love? Love for others, self love, acceptance, gratitude, unconditional serving of the universe. Your financial goals. How much money do you make? How much money do you want to make? How much debt are you in? What about your small, medium enterprise? How much money does your startup make? How do you get some more funding for it? So I have mentioned to you all of the various elements of life that do require balancing. And what I do tend to observe is that many of us, we go tunnel vision into very few elements and we neglect the rest of the elements. If you look at any person who is out there having financial problems, if you look at someone who's having relationship issues, if you look at someone who's struggling in their career, if you look at someone who's having a lot of health problems, it simply stems from the fact that they did not practice a balanced way of living life. Whatever was in their control, of course, you can't account for certain acts of nature, but what's in your control, you can do it. It is possible to live a balanced way of life. And let me take you through the steps on how do we ensure that we live such a life. Firstly, acknowledge the fact that you're living an unbalanced life. The first step in solving any problem or any issue concern is to acknowledge that it is a problem. Once you do acknowledge it, that's more than half of the work done. You define the problem, and introspect about what are the elements of your life that are not going very well, that are unbalanced, highly skewed towards the other side. For example, you may be a 30-year-old married man who has a good career, who has the love of his life, but is not able to manage his money wisely, who overspends and has a huge credit issue. So clearly, an element of his life that needs balancing is the financial aspect. First step he should do is to acknowledge it and not deny it. And acknowledge to himself that he will resolve it. He will take the first steps to resolve it. And the next step is to examine the reason why this is unfulfilled. So now that you've acknowledged and identified the elements which needs balancing, you have to examine as to why it has reached this place. What's the reason for this element to be unfulfilled? And what can be done about it? Is it in your control? Do you need external help? Is it internal to you? Is it a discipline thing? I'll give you an example. So there's a middle-aged man who has had everything going really well for him, except he's not able to connect with his daughter. And his daughter is in school and he wants to do whatever it takes to connect with him, but it's not happening. So what can he do? He'll just make a list of reasons why it didn't work out and what can be done from his end. Just a laundry list. Examine it deeply. A deep introspection is required. The third step is to set goals. Now that you've done the introspection and the examination part, next step for you is to have a vision for how you want your future to be with respect to the goals that you need balancing. If possible, make a list of goals for each and every element of your life. Those goals should not just be for the next 2 years. It should be broader, wider. It should be for next 5 years, for next 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, a long-term vision. Once you decide on these goals, you have to act on them and you have to do whatever it takes to meet them. Of course, don't be tyrannical about it. They should act as guiding principles for your life. And if you don't meet them, you can always practice self-compassion. Treat yourself as a friend so that even if you don't meet those goals, you have the motivation to try again and not take it really badly upon yourself. Now that you've jotted down your goals, you have to create a plan of action. Make a plan and start actionizing on that plan to resurrect your life for those various elements of life that you require balancing. Make a proper schedule, a calendar, and a list of steps, a list of action items, and follow it through. Act on them. Whatever resources are required, go get them and start acting on it. Start seeing results. The next step is, of course, once you've created the plan, there will be some aspects of your plan that will not work out in real life. That's where debottlenecking comes in. You need to keep analyzing and realize where certain aspects of the plan is not working and how do you debottleneck them. What are those constraints? What are those barriers for you to attain success when it comes to achieving your goals? Debottleneck them, provide solutions, resolve issues, ask for help, and get it done. Talking about asking for help, you need to get support. You need to have the right cheerleaders in your life. It can be your spouse. It can be your child if you're a little bit elderly. It can be your close friend. It can be professional help. It can be your parent. Anyone who is going to be there for you in this journey and who's going to provide you all the support that you require. It's not going to be easy doing it alone. I'm not saying it's going to be impossible. I'm just going to say it's going to be all the more difficult. It just makes life easier if you have someone who supports you on this. So do enlist support. Get some support. Next is to journal your progress. So maintain a journal. Note down points. Note down certain aspects that went well, certain aspects that didn't go well. How did it make you feel inside? and visualize going forward. How are you going to ensure that it gets better? How do you keep improving? It really helps you to let go of things that are in your heart and in your mind. Your thoughts and feelings need an outlet, and journaling is prime example of letting go of your thoughts and feelings. Jot it down. You will have sleepless nights, but one thing that helps with sleeplessness when your mind is racing all the time is called a brain dump. And brain dump is nothing but just writing down what you feel, and that's journaling. In your journey for improvement in your life, to lead a more balanced life, journaling is key. Practice self-compassion. There will be a lot of times where it will be very frustrating for you. It will be frustrating for others that they're not seeing the change in you, or they're not seeing the progress, or you are not seeing the change in yourself, or you're not seeing the progress. One key ingredient to help that you don't get such outbursts again and that you don't feel frustrated is self-compassion. Be kind to yourself. Talk to yourself like a friend. Console yourself. At the end of this day, you need to love yourself and you need to comfort yourself. If you have this inner dialogue with yourself every now and then, it's going to be really helpful and it'll take a lot of the stress out. Meditation and visualization. Meditation is key for ensuring that you get to change yourself. What meditation does is it helps you calm yourself. If you take a few deep breaths every day, and if you just internalize and observe yourself, it gives you a lot of clarity, it gives you a lot of calm, and you get a lot of healing energy within you. Breathe deeply and breathe slowly. Use guided meditation. Just close your eyes and meditate. It helps you to gain control over your mind and body. Visualization is also key. Visualization is what ensures that you can predict the future in your mind. If you visualize yourself being more healthy, being more proactive, going to the gym, you already rehearsed it in your mind multiple times. That when you do end up going to the gym, it'll be like you've already done it. It'll be like a deja vu. And you will end up working out and being healthier. And lastly, be consistent. Stick to it. This is not just a one-off activity. This is a lifelong endeavor. Because if you don't stick to it, you will end up going back to your comfort zone. And once you're back into your comfort zone, then the same cycle repeats. Your activities of life will be skewed towards certain elements and neglect towards the rest. In order to maintain balance, you have to work at it. You have to do it time in, time out again. I understand there will be a few instances, like for example, if you're at work, if it's the year-end annual review comes up, so you have to work hard for a couple of weeks. I understand that, yeah, that's there. But true discipline is getting back to the balanced way of life after those 2 weeks. Make exceptions, of course. If your parent is ill, you spend a lot of time with your parents, of course, that's natural, that's what it is. But also try your best to make time and space for a balanced way of living and work at it for a long-term success. Thank you so much.